Welcome to Phantasialand in Brühl, Germany, home to some of the best rides in Europe, including Taron, F.L.Y and Black Mamba. Today I'm taking you around the park for a full adventure. Let's go. Good morning everybody, welcome back to a brand new vlog. Today you join me at Phantasialand in Brühl, Germany. It's my first time visiting the park and I absolutely cannot wait. There's a lot of bucket list coasters here for me which I cannot wait to ride, including rides like Taron, F.L.Y and also the coaster that you can see in the background, Black Mamba. I've been staying at the Hotel Mamba, which is the African themed hotel which is on site at the park, and yeah, I've had a good night's rest and I'm ready to explore the park today and I cannot wait. So as you enter the park at the Hotel Mamba entrance, you get welcomed by Black Mamba, the B&M invert, which I cannot wait to ride. One of the things that Phantasialand is known for is its amazing theming, and straight away you are welcomed with that in the African section of the park. You've got this absolutely amazing themed little area, and yeah, as I mentioned, as soon as you enter the park, you're welcomed by Black Mamba. And with it being only a 5-minute queue, I think it's only right if we ride it. So we've just had our first ride of the day on the B&M invert Black Mamba. This ride opened up in 2006 and is a very similar ride to Nemesis at Alton Towers. I do actually think it is slightly better. It's a similar sort of ride. It's not too tall, but you are sort of weaving in and out of the terrain, and the ride and the drop especially isn't too tall. And obviously, yeah, the theming similar to Nemesis is very, very good. The inversions are very, very whippy. It is very intense, but yeah, for the first ride of the day, I don't think you can get much better than that. For our second ride of the day, we are going to head over onto Talocan, the Huss top spin ride. This is a bit of an older model of the ride, however, it is known to be one of the most intense, and it does have a slightly longer ride cycle. It seems like there's only a short queue on it once again. I've just seen it cycling and there wasn't too many people on it. It is a Monday today, so I don't think the queues are going to be too long, thankfully. But yeah, I am really, really excited to get on this. So I've managed to finally find the entrance to Talocan. I've just spent the last 5 minutes walking around. The signage isn't the most prominent around the park, and yeah, Talocan is sort of hidden away in the Mexican section. However, we have finally found it. It's only a 5-minute queue, so yeah, let's head on to the ride and hopefully I don't get sick. So I've just got off my first ever ride on Talocan, the Huss top spin ride. Yeah, it's definitely an experience. The theming on there is absolutely amazing. It is, again, really intense, and I feel like that's probably going to be a theme across a lot of these rides at the park. The restraints are the older version from the Huss top spin model, so they are the bulky restraints compared to like the newer ones which you'll find on Toxicator at Alton Towers. So they aren't the most comfortable, unfortunately, so some of the parts where it is that bit more intense, especially as a male, it can sort of crush your private parts. However, yeah, it is a really, really enjoyable ride, and when it's something like only a 5-minute queue, it's definitely worth going on. So as you can see behind me, we are in the Berlin section of the park, and this is where the park entrance is for regular guests. And yeah, it is absolutely beautiful round here. The theming is just absolutely incredible. I mentioned earlier Alton Towers, and you compare Tower Street to something like this, and it's just on a different scale. Yeah, it's amazing. The overall ambience at the park is just absolutely amazing. Obviously the theming, like I mentioned, is top notch, but just little things like the music, and there's just loads of small details around the park which just make it that extra little bit better. So we've just left the Berlin section of the park, and we're now going to head over to Cologne, which is home to the Intamin LSM coaster Taron. As you can see around the park, they do have these boards which sort of give you the directions, even though, as I said earlier, it is a little bit difficult to find some of the rides. Taron is this way, so we are going to head in that direction over to Cologne. So as you can see behind me is Taron, the Intamin LSM multi-launch coaster, and this has been one of my bucket list coasters. As you can see, it just fly behind me. It's known to be one of Europe's best coasters. I'm a massive fan of Intamin rides, and yeah, it is something that I cannot wait to get on. So let's go. Wow, so I've just had my first ever ride on Taron, and that was absolutely amazing, and it definitely lived up to the expectations. I was sat on the back row and was sat on the right side. You get some really good airtime on there. You also get some very nice lateral forces. I think the highlight for me was definitely that second launch where you get up to, I believe it is 72 miles an hour. That thing's going to be very, very good in the afternoon once it's warmed up. You've got some really nice food options in Cologne, including this section where you've got these sort of like pizzas. You've also got a section where you can get a nice ice cold beer, and you also have, I believe it's called Rutron's Tavern, which is a dine-in section. So if you are looking for something on the sweeter side, they do have a section for crepes, and yeah, there's quite a lot of really nice options on here. And as you can see, the prices are very, very good, and the portion sizes are quite big. So next up is Raik, which is a Vekoma family boomerang. It sort of intertwines with Taron, and yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to this. I think these Vekoma family boomerangs are very good sort of family rides. After the intensity of something like Taron, it's definitely a bit of a way to calm down a little bit. So I've just had my first ever ride on Raik, the Vekoma family boomerang, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was good. There was some sections were actually a little bit intense, and obviously the new gen Vekoma rides, they're all very, very smooth. So it was an overall really enjoyable attraction, and it's a fantastic ride for families. So next up we are going to head on to Colorado Adventure, which is a Vekoma mine train. If you've watched our Energylandia vlog, it's very similar to the Choco Chip Creek ride. It's got 3 lift hills. One of the things that happened on the ride at Energylandia was that we got stuck on the lift hill. So hopefully this time that doesn't happen again. A little fun fact for you, this was actually opened by Michael Jackson, and yeah, it was actually named Michael Jackson the ride, and then was later renamed to Colorado Adventure. It's only a 5-minute queue once again. The queue times do seem quite short today, with it only being a Monday, so let's head on to it. I've just had a fantastic ride on Colorado Adventure, the Vekoma mine train. I was sat the second to back row on my own, and if you're not aware, there's sort of not any divider between the two seats, and there's only a lap bar which doesn't go very tight. So on some of those helixes, you sort of get flung around in the seat, and it is sort of very out of control. There is a sort of a dark ride section where you have no idea where you're going, and yeah, it was just really enjoyable, and those sort of rides for families are just absolutely fantastic, and once again, really well themed. As you can see today, the queue times are very, very low. As I mentioned, I am here on a Monday, and yeah, as you can see there, F.L.Y's on a 20-minute queue, Black Mamba is on a 5-minute, Taron on a 20-minute, so yeah, hopefully we can get lots of rides in today. One of the things here at Phantasialand which is absolutely amazing is sort of the on-street entertainment that walks around. It's obviously really good for the ambience, and obviously for the little kids it's something that makes the day a little bit more memorable, and it's definitely something that I would like to see at more theme parks, especially in the UK. So one of the new things for 2025 here at Phantasialand is Feenies, shakes and pancakes, and yeah, I've seen some pictures of these pancakes, and you can get some very, very big pancake stacks. They also have some milk smoothies here on the right outside, and yeah, I've seen a few people walking around the park and they look absolutely delicious. As you can see here, they've got lots of things for the family overall. You've got a little kids play area, and just things like that, it makes it really enjoyable for the whole family. You've obviously got the thrill rides such as Taron and F.L.Y, but just the little things like here, and they're all very, very well themed, and it just makes the park overall better for families. So we're now going to enter, I believe it's called Woos or Ways Town. This is sort of like the indoor section, and it is home to both Winja's Fear and Winja's Force, the Maura spinning coasters. I've just had two fantastic rides on Winja's Fear and Winja's Force. These are two separate rides, and they are both spinning coasters manufactured by Maura Rides. They have some surprise elements on there which I won't say, and they also have a vertical lift hill, which is, yeah, very interesting. I only queued up for around 5 to 10 minutes for Winja's Force, and then as I was queuing up for Winja's Fear, unfortunately Force then broke down and the sort of queues had to merge together. This meant I had to wait around 30 to 45 minutes, which I'm not 100% sure if it was worth it. I think these are sort of two coasters I'd probably wait for around 20-minute max, but the new credits, and yeah, I did really enjoy them overall. So it's approaching lunchtime here at Phantasialand, and what tends to happen is the queue times tend to go down, and yeah, I'm sort of going to use that to my advantage and try and get on as much as possible as I sort of go for my lunch a little bit later than everyone else anyway. So as it was only a 10-minute queue, I'm now going to have a ride on Au Chocolat. It's a dark ride, and yeah, I can't wait to try it. Au Chocolat is a fantastic family trackless dark ride. You're basically going around, and it's a shooting game, so you're shooting at some of the mice that are, I believe, attacking the factory. Obviously it's all in German, so I didn't really understand it, but nevertheless it was really fun. Unfortunately I didn't beat the high score. The sun's finally started to come out here today in Brühl, and yeah, I am really enjoying my day so far. I've just got a nice little Coke Zero, and yeah, we're gonna head over onto, I believe, Crazy Bats, which is the VR coaster. Look how beautiful it is here. Just little things like the kids and family rides being themed really, really well. Things like this carousel, it just really adds to everything here at the park. It's by far the best theme park that I've ever been to, and yeah, I am really, really enjoying myself here. So we're now going to make our way onto Crazy Bats, which is a sort of a family VR roller coaster. I've heard some decent things about it. I'm not the biggest fan of VR rides, however, it'll obviously be good to get the credit. I believe it used to be one of the largest and longest, indoor roller coasters. So yeah, it should be some good fun. and yeah, it's only a 20-minute wait and it'll be good to get on. So I've just had a ride on Crazy Bats, the VR coaster, and I actually rode it without the VR headsets. There was a few of us on the ride that actually rode without them. I think that was mainly because of the sort of the signage around. It wasn't very clear where you actually got the headsets from, so it was a little bit underwhelming. However, I'm not the biggest fan of the VR headsets because they can sometimes give me a bit of motion sickness. The overall ride experience, it's sort of similar to the Colorado Adventure in the sense it's got 3 lift hills. It's a really long layout. It's nowhere near as intense as Colorado Adventure, and yeah, it's a weird one because without the headsets, yeah, it might be a bit more enjoyable for some people, but at the same time, with the headset, it probably makes the overall experience better. So I've now made my way over to Ruckburg, which is the newest area at Phantasialand and home to the amazing Vekoma flying coaster, F.L.Y. This has been one of my bucket list coasters for a very long time now. The theming around here is absolutely unbelievable and by far the most amazing theme land I've ever seen at a theme park. I'm a big fan of the steampunk theme, and obviously, yeah, you've got a world-class coaster to accompany it, which I cannot wait to ride. I've just had a front row ride on F.L.Y. and that was absolutely incredible. I definitely think it's worth queuing up for the front if it's possible. I think I waited around 20 to 25 minutes. If you can do it, it is definitely worth it. It's such a unique ride. It has 2 launches, and yeah, it's just a really compact layout, but it manages to pack in so much. Just the theming all around it, you're obviously intertwining, and there's loads of near misses on there. There's also airtime on this ride, which is such a bizarre experience on a flying model. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that ride, and yeah, it is definitely one of my favourites in the entire world. So I'm feeling a little bit peckish, so I am going to go for a focaccia bacon. Like you can see, it's only €7, and yeah, you get a nice big slice. So I've decided to have a little break from the rides, and I've just picked myself up a focaccia with bacon, and yeah, hopefully this can be quite stodgy and fill me up for the rest of the day. It's getting quite warm here today in Brühl, and I think it's around 23 or 24 degrees, so I think the best way to cool off would be to go on some of the water rides. So I'm going to head on to Chiapas now, which is a Intamin water ride. So I've just had a very, very wet ride on Chiapas de Vasaban. I was told that you don't really get that wet, so I opted not to wear my poncho. However, that was a rookie error. I got absolutely drenched. That thing, it's a throughput machine. I think they run something like 8 trains, and on days like this when it is warm, that is obviously really useful. I think I only waited around 5 to 10 minutes. I was sat on the back row. There is a backwards drop, and the water comes over the top and absolutely drenches you. You do also get a little bit of air time on that final drop, especially at the back, and it's a really steep drop. So yeah, it was a really enjoyable ride, and yeah, I really did enjoy that. So we're just heading through the Chinese section of the park now, and we're going to head over onto Mystery Castle and then on to River Quest next. So I've just had a ride on Mystery Castle, and to be honest, I did find that to be a little bit underwhelming. I think it's around 220 feet tall. There's sort of 5 different shot and drop towers inside of there. I believe there is 2 cycles. In the morning it tends to be a shorter cycle, in the afternoon it's a longer one. From what I've heard, it is definitely better to do the afternoon cycle as it is longer. However, I was still underwhelmed by it. I didn't feel like it really did much for me. It wasn't very intense. It didn't give you that sort of drop in your stomach feeling when you drop down. So I mean, if it's a short queue, I'd definitely yeah, give it a go, but if it is a longer queue, I'd probably avoid it, especially if it's in the morning. But while the sun is still out, I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to go on another water ride. This time it's going to be River Quest, and I've heard you get absolutely soaked on this, so I've brought a poncho. It is yellow, so I'm probably going to look like a little yellow duck, but I couldn't care less at this point because yeah, I don't want to be absolutely soaked for the shuttle bus. So let's have a ride. So I've just had a ride on River Quest. The poncho didn't really save me. Literally on the first drop, it all came through on the side where the sleeves aren't fully covered. It drenched me. But no, I really enjoyed that. I'm not normally the biggest fan of the rapids rides, and I tend to sort of skip them if I see them at a theme park, but on River Quest you sort of have you have a vertical lift, you have a few drops, and there's also sort of like a whirlwind type drop, which I did find to be really enjoyable. Those sort of rides are really good fun, especially when you're with friends and family. Even though I was on my own, it was still really enjoyable, you know, laughing and joking around with the other people that were on my boat. And so yeah, it's definitely something that I would recommend doing, but if it's a cold day, I don't think I would do it because you do get soaked. Look at the queue times here today. We've got 5 minutes on F.L.Y. You've also got a 10-minute on Taron. So yeah, I mean, I'd definitely recommend coming on one of these Mondays and midweek days if you want to get on everything. Quite a lot of the rides have a 5-10 minute queue, and you can definitely get on all the main rides. So we're coming towards the end of our day here at Phantasialand. I've had a really good day, and yeah, we're going to end the day off here. I've got some ice cream. I've got 1 scoop of cookies and cream and 1 scoop of caramel. That's really good. One thing I will say here that I have noticed is that the quality in the food and like the pricing, for example, is just so much better than what you tend to find at like the UK parks. Like this was 2 scoops and it cost me €3.80, which I think is really good value for money considering the quality of it. You also have loads of sort of individual stalls which have really good high quality food. Back home in like the UK, for example, a rollover hot dog is going to cost you, you know, £10–11, whereas you can get a nice good meal here, you know, for less than €10. I've just finished my ice cream, and there's only about another hour or so till the park closes, so I think it's time to have a few more re-rides. I believe F.L.Y has around a 5 or 10 minute queue, so I'm gonna see if I can lap that as many times as I can. So after a few more re-rides of the likes of Taron and F.L.Y, that's going to be the end of my day here at Phantasialand. Overall, I've had an amazing time. Some of the rides here are some of the best that I've ever been on. Just overall, the overall ambience, the theming, I've just had a really amazing day, and I hope to come back soon. They actually do a winter event called Winter Au, which looks really interesting, and hopefully that's something that I can come back to in the future. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.